Okay. If if at any time you don't hear me, just let me know so we can change microphones. All right, good evening once again. Um, we want to talk this evening about, as it says in the title there, uh, cardiovascular disease and water or stop cholesterol deposit. Okay. It's nothing new to us, but it is an important matter because cardiovascular disease is the number one killer. And so that means that you are at risk for dying from cardiovascular health condition. So let's see what the professionals are saying about this cardiovascular disease. According to Mayo Clinic, they say that cardiovascular disease is a group of disease affecting your heart and blood vessels. These diseases can affect one or many parts of your heart or blood vessels. A person may be symptomatic, physically experiencing the disease, or asymptomatic, not feeling anything at all, and still have the condition. All right? So this could be a silent killer. It says, again, Mayo Clinic says, cardiovascular disease include heart disease, heart and blood vessel disease, including narrowing of the blood vessel in your heart, other organs or throughout your body. That's cardiovascular. Heart and blood vessel problems present at birth, heart valves that aren't working right, or irregular heart rhythm. These are all under the category of cardiovascular disease. What we're going to focus on is the aspect where there's cholesterol deposit, or and when the blood gets too thick that the heart go into a spasm. So we could have a situation where a piece of cholesterol breaks off and clog the artery, or we may have a situation where the blood just gets so thick that the heart just quit. All right? Okay. Just quit. It just,
So it's like it's another word for quit, I guess. Wait, is it another like word cardiac arrest?
yeah.
But I have a question. What's the difference between a heart spasm and a muscle spasm?
Okay. As we go, you will see what the differences are. So just hold on to your seat and pay close attention. All right. So the leading cause of death in the United States and around the world is cardiovascular disease. That means that the disease that kills more people all around the world is cardiovascular disease. The number one. So you have a risk of dying from cardiovascular diseases. Almost half of adults in the United States have some form of cardiovascular disease. It affects people of all ages, sex, ethnicity, and socioeconomic level. It affects everybody.
So like tell me, is there like so like in all like other countries, is there one country that gets this like
Is there one country that gets this problem the most? I am not sure of the statistics on that, but I would not doubt to say the developed countries get it more.
that?
like America and Canada and England. I would say the developed country are more problems with it because they live a more complex life than the other countries. Okay, listen to this: 1 in 3 women dies from cardiovascular disease. So we got 1, 2, 3 women here, 4, and 1 in 3 you will die from a cardiovascular disease.
I have a question. About the
You use the mic, please.
the mic.
Or I think hold your questions. Hold your questions.
Oh, it's working. It's actually working. It's actually working.
Hold your questions, write them down, and I will be sure to give you an opportunity to ask your questions at the end. So I'm going to pull this out. So we just use the computer microphone. All right. Are you still hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is what we may be looking at as we focus in on this aspect of your cardiovascular, the narrowing of the arteries. If you notice the upper left-hand corner, what the arteries normally looks like. And you would want to connect to Zoom so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, connect to Zoom and here's another phone. Okay. All right. Now to the upper right hand, we see the tear in the arterial walls, beginning of the problems. Then as the condition progresses, in the lower left hand, we see fatty material is deposited in the vessel walls. All right. She's finding it for you so you can see it. And further, as the condition progresses, we get to where we have the arteries narrow and it becomes blocked. So this is our primary focus this evening, in addition to the area where even without a blockage, you can have blood so thick that the heart quit. Okay. Why does this take place is a big question. Why would such a thing take place that kill millions of people every year? The number one killer in the whole world. If you can find the cause of this here, you can, okay, you'd be a millionaire, or you can help a lot of people throughout the world to live longer. Right, right, very good. So now I'm going to reference a study from Loma Linda University. In this study, Loma Linda University did a 6-year study, and this is their discovery. This was in 2002. It says Loma Linda University conducted a study on the effects of water and cardiovascular disease. The study, Water, Other Fluids, and Fatal Coronary Heart Disease, followed participants for 6 years. They found that women who drank more than 5 8-ounce glasses of water a day were 41% less likely to die from heart attacks during the study period than those who drank 2 or fewer glasses. Okay? 2 or fewer glasses are 41% less. In high water consuming men, that risk decreased by 54%. So already we have seen an association between water consumption and cardiovascular disease or heart attacks. Water goes up in this Loma Linda study, and heart attack risks decrease drastically. Let's continue. Dr. Nedley, he said this: if a person is not drinking enough water, hematocrit risk, thus increasing the risk of heart attacks and stroke. I'm not seeing a portion of my screen. Also, a lack of water causes the red blood cell to be less flexible, which increase their tendency to clot. Again, this is a second study that make an association between water and the cardiovascular condition. The reality of it is, when we consider this matter, the solution to this condition of heart disease or heart attack was proposed way back since the 30s. One scientist, Dr. Karim, came up with an equation of perfect health, and he was able to predict a person based upon their body chemistry when they would have a heart attack within 2 years and only miss it by 7 days, because this is science. All right. And this is the equation, which we're not going to go into the equation, but I wanted to show you one of the factors in the equation which relates to the condition of cardiovascular disease. Actually, 2 of these factors, the 6.5 on the salt and the 3/3 on the urea. And then in this illustration, let's say the salt levels, I'll explain what I mean by salt, gets up to 30 to 75 in the value. This is an increased risk of a person developing or being affected by this condition that we're studying about. When the urea's total gets up 24 through 30, the blood increasingly become thicker and thicker and thicker until the heart go into a spasm. So 2 factors in this equation relates to the risk of heart disease. All right. Now, first, let's talk about the salts. You heard about salt. When we talk about salts, there are actually 49 different tissue salts within the body. Salts are electrolytes. These are the substance that causes current to flow. Without electrolyte, there will be no current flow in this building. If they didn't have electrolytes, conductor material, then the current would not flow. We would not have light, we would not have fan, we won't have anything. So electrolytes are important in our bodies and in our everyday living experience. Electrolytes may be metal, proteins, or chloride salt. We are familiar with the chloride salts. Sodium chloride, typical table salt, potassium chloride, and various other chloride salts. All right. We are familiar with metals. These are electrolytes such as aluminum, gold, silver, copper, etc. Our bodies require these things. Okay, write your question down. And then there's the protein salts, such as ammonia and nitrate nitrogen. These are all salts coming from the food source, coming from cells that are broken down and are not being washed out of the body completely fast enough. Are we together? Now, let me talk a little bit about the protein salts, ammonia and nitrate nitrogen. These particular nitrogen salt will come from the foods that we eat, and they will also come from cells that are broken down from your delta cells, cells that are being exchanged, cells that the body throw out. We will have some of these protein salts. As a matter of fact, when the cells die and are released from their location, if a person is drinking water consistently, then it will wash out the salt before they become soluble, before they take on the effect where they can cause some problems in the body. But if you're not drinking enough water and they remain in the body for longer than 3 days, then they become soluble salts. And these soluble salts at that time will have an impact upon the heart and the thickness of the blood. You follow me? So now, so that's coming from the cells, but from the food, you're eating a high protein diet. When you're eating a high protein diet and you're not drinking enough water to flush it out, then this becomes problematic. So these proteins become salts, and they have the effect to stimulate the heart. So the heart beats hard. The heart pounds, not necessarily faster, but the heart will tend to beat hard. You know, your physician will listen to your heart and say, your heart is strong. It's just simply being overstimulated. And at some point, if the urea goes high enough, the heart could quit. And this is the case with some of the crib deaths. Some of the crib deaths, the child received the urea from the mother, and the urea was so high that the child, their heart stopped in the crib, and the child dies. And it's a mystery. How did the child die? They call it sudden infant death syndrome. But this is a major cause of that situation. High urea thickens the blood. Okay. So eating a diet high in protein, whether nuts or meat, and if you don't drink enough water, you can get to your to where you don't want to go faster. Before you get to that point, though, this high urea will thicken your blood, make your heart beat harder, so it makes you more tired and sluggish during the day. And especially when you wake up first thing in the morning, you're sluggish. You can't hardly roll out of bed. You need a train to pull you out of bed. Okay? Usually the urea is high, the heart is being overstimulated, is beating too hard, working too hard. Amazai. And Zoadi. Okay? So at this point, you should be seeing that really already, without talking much about water, you could see the value, the indispensable value of water. I'll talk more about water, but these are some of the things that will impact us. These particular nitrogen, ammonia and nitrate nitrogen, we can smell the ammonia in the urine when the urine is concentrated. So typically when we're not drinking enough water, the urine become concentrated, these ammonia become concentrated, and in reality, it's telling you that you need water. It's telling you that you could be approaching a danger zone. Okay. All right. So don't take it lightly. We need to drink our water. And here is a little chart showing you, looking at the urea. It shows where we're looking at a minor heart attack situation, major, or fatal. As the urea reading increases, as you can see, 20 to 24, 24 to 27, 27 to 30, the heart quit. Okay. So the higher the urea, the thicker the blood, and the closer you are to the heart quitting. And I was looking at some of the studies they have, and I see studies they have urea and in hospital cardiac situations that occur that increases the risk. Urea and heart attack, urea and coronary artery type incident increases the risk. And so besides just a knowledge of the body chemistry, this is real if you look in the science world and look at the relationship between urea values and the cardiovascular risk. All right. So you will see that. All right. So excess nitrogen, in short, thickens the blood. Excess nitrogen increases the sap in the plants during the cold weather seasons. There's 35,000 tons of nitrogen over each acre of land. And when the temperature cools, that nitrogen penetrates the sap of the plant. And it does the same thing it does in our body. It thickens the sap so it can no longer flow to the tiny vessels of the leaves. So we enjoy what we see. The leaves change color. We enjoy those fall colors. And then they died. But it was a process of dying that the leaves were going through, but we just enjoy them in the process. Excess nitrogen thickens the fluid. Okay? Now, the other effects of the salts, it impacts the nerve. Salts are electrolytes, okay? The higher the salt, the higher the electrolytes, and the tissue that are subject to this damage include the nerves, the myelinated sheathings on the nerve. So high salt causes a higher volume of current to flow over the nerve. The nerves are not built to run on that higher volume. So therefore, it will have a tendency to destroy the myelinated sheathing on the nerve. Sort of like plugging in a 110 appliance. If it were possible into a 220-volt outlet, what is going to happen to the wire? It's going to fry. It's going to dehydrate. It's going to burn. Similar situation. And so we've had folks who were not drinking water. These were nurses. You know, nurses get busy in their career. We're not drinking water. And they called my wife and said, you know, I got this, my nerve is just giving me a hard time. It's numb, it's burning. And she asked her, how much water are you drinking? And she hardly drinking water. So she put her to drink distilled water, so much according to her weight. And within 2 weeks, there was no more nerve problem, just drinking water. See what I'm saying? A person in perfect health, 100-pound person in perfect health, all right? They're 25 pounds of mineral and 75 pounds of water. Okay? 60% of that 25 pounds is calcium. 60% of that 25 pounds of mineral is calcium. So that means our bodies are built with more calcium more than any other minerals. The bones are made out of calcium, and every single cell requires calcium to stay healthy. Every single cell in our body. Okay. Women need 5 to 7 times more mineral than men, and 80% of that is calcium. So salt will affect the tissue structure, our nervous system, the smooth muscles, which is where we're going to focus on and show you why the plaque build up. It will affect our energy. All right. The salt, the urea thickens the blood. Not only does the urea thickens the blood, but the salt in and of itself, excess salt in the tissue fluid causes the blood cells to clump together, to cluster together, so they don't flow as well. So that increases a person's sluggishness and tiredness. Tired all the time. Tired when we go to sleep, tired when we wake up. You see what I'm saying? It impacts the circulation, as I just mentioned, and as a result, it impacts the level of inflammation within our body. And this one is pretty important. It's subtle, but it's very important. It also influences our witness, because when you have too much current flowing over your nerve, you are on edge. You have so much internal stresses that the least little thing gets you fly off the handle and you're ready to hold somebody by their throat. You see what I'm saying? The least little thing somebody say, you get irritated and you're ready to fight. Too much internal stress within the body over the fluids, and so you can't hardly handle anything from the outside. It takes a lot of grace. It takes literally a lot more grace to keep that person calm and sane and loving and kind and gracious. So it does affect our witness. What I want to focus on is the smooth muscles. The smooth muscles of the body are especially affected with the high salt. We have smooth muscle lining our intestine, the blood vessels, and these smooth muscles, as well as other places too, these smooth muscles are especially susceptible to the damage that the high salt cause. And that's what we're going to talk about. The smooth muscles within the blood vessels, your arteries, those vessels that carry the blood away from the heart. Okay? Here's in the illustration, you can see the smooth muscles there. And also in the second illustration to your right, you see the smooth muscles, and as well as you see the opening, the lumen where the blood travels. That's the tissue that is going to be affected by the high salt. Write your question down. Write your questions down. I promise you we'll answer them. All right. So as a result of the high salt, what the high salt does, it penetrates the blood vessel walls and get to the smooth muscles and literally dehydrate the smooth muscles. It causes cracks and lesions to develop inside of the blood vessel wall where the smooth muscles are. So that becomes a problem if you have the vessels losing their elasticity. All right, that is a great bit of problem there. And so when that happens, the nerves are affected, the message is communicated to the brain, all right? And the brain sends a message to the liver, because we're fearfully and wonderfully made. The message from the area or the tissue or the vessel that is damaged will communicate to the brain that there is problem over here in this particular vessel. The brain will then communicate to the liver and say, we have this problem and we need to repair the damage. So the liver goes to work in building cholesterol molecules and sends it out in the bloodstream and till it reaches the area where the damage is. When it gets to that area, it enters the blood vessel wall and begins to do a work of depositing cholesterol on the walls of the artery as a repair factor to repair the damage caused by the high salt. You see what I'm saying? It's repairing the damage caused by the high salt. Now, Dr. Matthias Rath received Nobel Prize for reversing cardiovascular disease without drugs. He described the process from a different point of view, but he hit it right on. Its cause is lack of vitamin C. But what we're showing you is that it's high salt, which does result in vitamin C loss. So he's right, but we're hitting it right on. But let's listen to what he says. He says, with continued repair over years, fat molecules and other repair factors accumulate in the inside of the vessel walls. Arteriosclerotic deposit develop as nature's plaster cast for the weakened vessel wall. So he's saying these plaque develop as repair factor for the weakened blood vessel walls. This is another view of it. Plaque or cholesterol deposit in the inside of the blood vessel wall. And it gets to the point. Okay, go back a little. Okay, you can see it there. It becomes a serious issue. And this is what's killing most of the people around the world. Okay. And it continues to narrow down because nature continues to repair the damage, to deposit more cholesterol molecule, until unfortunately an artery is completely clogged. A heart attack or a stroke is the result. A stroke, if it's in the brain, or aneurysm can occur at the same time. Maybe a heart attack. This is in the arteries of the feet, become narrow due to cholesterol deposit. So what we're looking at, the salt, while it should be 6.5 in the value in the equation, when it goes up to 35, we're seeing increasing damage to the arterial walls. This also occurs in children if they just don't drink water and they go year in and year out. Their arteries will be damaged just as well, even if they're complete plant-based. Their arteries will be damaged the same way. If you're eating meat, it's going to be damaged also. As long as they do a great job of not drinking water, that salts will go high and stay high until an artery is completely clogged. So when it gets up to 47, the danger increases. Certainly at 35 in a child, while it's dangerous, but 35 in a 50, 60, 65-year-old person, it is much more critical because it indicates that the condition has been there for much, much longer time. Okay, so there's greater danger there. Dr. Matthias Rath continues the discussion and he gives a description. He says the question is legitimate. Why would nature produce a molecule that killed millions of people by accumulating in the walls of the arteries and by causing heart attack? Why? Why would such a thing happen? He says the answer is strikingly simple. There has to be an advantage to lipoprotein A to its stickiness, to its cholesterol transport, etc. We know already what this advantage is: repair. Lipoprotein A is nature's top repair molecules. Only if this repair goes on for too long will this repair molecule turn into a risk factor, and only then will the advantage turn into a disadvantage. It's so simple and logical. It's also a fact that, persons on insulin is a concentrated salt. And it will do that job as well of crystallizing, dehydrating the blood vessel walls. And so persons on insulin, taking insulin, they're at increased risk for the same thing I'm talking about with the high salt. Here it is again, salt levels increases. So when you soak things in salt water, what does it do? It's going to pull the fluid out. It's going to pull the blood out if you soak meat in salt water. Okay? And this is similar what happened. The critical factor why the salts go high is a lack of water. A lack of pure, soft water. If a person is drinking enough water, even if they're dumping the salt on, okay, and they're drinking plenty of water consistently throughout the day, then the salts will not accumulate. You see what I'm saying? But when children or adults eat a lot of junk food, which junk food are known to be more saltier than the other foods, then they're only hastening the process that we're talking about. Okay? The critical factor is water. Lack of water will result in thickened blood. It affects the nerves. Cholesterol deposit is increased. Weakened muscle, digestive weaknesses, memory and concentration issue, sugar levels tend to rise. All cellular function is affected by lack of water. Okay, you follow me? In our store, we have customers that come in and said, I would like to get this here, this supplement and this supplement to help, reduce my cholesterol or to do this and that. And we would say, ask the customer, how much water do you drink? And they say, I hate water. I hear that quite a bit. Customer tell me, I hate water. And they come to buy some products, which, okay, you're there to sell them the product, but in good conscience, I cannot just sell them a product when I know that their lifestyle is conducive to their condition. So I give them a lecture on water. And before they leave, they say, oh, I didn't know water was that important. I'm going to start drink my water now. Right, Amaziah? I tell you, water is amazing. Some of these persons would tell me, I've had a heart attack. The same one who tell me, I hate water. They say, I've had a heart attack. I said, well, if you don't change and begin to love water, your risk of having another one is through the roof. So if you don't, then another one will greet you. And then another one will continue to come until they come as a thunderbolt and take you out. It's a cause and effect situation. If we do not put sufficient water in our bodies to flush out the dead cells, the high salts, and so on, we're bound to suffer the effects of the high salt. No question. Okay? So we've got to drink water like it's going out of style. Water is not something, because a lot of people say, water is not food. I want food, not water. Water can give me food. Let me tell you, you cannot have energy without water. Water increases your energy. Because if your blood is too thick, your heart working too hard, what you need is water to get that blood a whole lot thinner so the blood can flow, so the heart can work less harder. You see what I'm saying? You can tell by looking at the urine. By looking at the urine, you can judge. Of course, the middle one of this and the illustration has something other than just pure water in there. But the ones to the right and to the left, you can see it's a whole lot more concentrated. And so persons need to drink a lot more water. Okay. Sometimes you see foam. When you see excessive foam, when you put your urine in the commode and you see excessive foam, that's excess nitrogen. Okay. And usually when it's really high, you will see it and it just stays there for a long while without moving away. That's telling you that you're at increased risk for things happening in your body if you don't begin to drink water. See what I'm saying? Of course, first thing in the morning, it generally may be concentrated because you haven't been drinking all night. But throughout the day, you should be drinking frequently water to keep your body well hydrated. Okay. All right. So how much water should we drink? The amount of water needs to be 1/2 our body weight in ounces. Half our body weight in ounces. So if my weight is 160, half of that is 80. So it'd be like 80 ounces. All right. And now I can divide this 80 ounces up. So I end up drinking some each hour all throughout the day. That's the best way to get your water in all throughout the day. Not one quart here and another quart over here. And the rest of the rest of the day, your body is dry. That's not drinking water properly, and you will still become deficient in water, even though you drink the appropriate amount for your body weight. See what I'm saying? It's sort of like the garden. The garden would benefit more by a 2-inch rainfall that's spread out over an 8-hour period of time versus a 2-inch rainfall that came down in 2 hours. Okay? Going to wash things out. It's going to flush out the soil. All right. Okay, so we want to be able to get in the water. Of course, water is not the only health practices that we do, but we also consider nutrition, exercise, sunshine, temperance, air, rest, and trust in our Creator. Incidentally, on the right, you see the requirements of the liver. In order for the liver to work effectively, producing some 6 billion different enzymes or amino acid structure in a lifetime or 5 billion in a day, the liver uses these particular substances: water, oxygen, calcium, iron, iodine, and vitamin A. These it uses in the manufacturing of all those amino acids or enzyme structure. So water is one of them. So you can see how when we're not getting enough water, it has a potential effect on every cell in our bodies. Every single cell is affected by lack of water. There are various ways once the condition exists, people throughout times and people who practices various health modalities use different things to help to remove the plaque buildup in the arteries once it's formed. And these are some of the things they do to help clean out the arteries. As I mentioned, drinking more water. The beautiful thing about this is that once you begin to drink the water and you stay a long enough period of time drinking the water, and you're keeping the salts low now. When you keep the salts low, there's no more damages going to your arterial wall. So nature is going to be performing a healing process and at the same time removing the cholesterol molecule piece by piece, bit by bit, the same way it put it there by design. It's going to move it away piece by piece over a period of time, and you can have a brand new arteries looking just like a child. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So now other people may use systemic enzymes to help the process of removing the plaque. They may use systemic enzymes, which I'll give you a list of some in a minute. Some people also use a process they call chelation therapy. All right. Some people use other herbal therapies. Okay. These are some systemic enzymes, serrapeptase, all right, nattokinase, very, very effective enzymes. Bromelain come from pineapple, that's right, and we had some pineapples today. And Blockbuster, which is a combination of these three, plus some other enzymes. So people use different ways, but if you don't know any of this here, and if you're back in the woods, and you just decide to drink your water, be more religious, be more conscientious about drinking your water, then the same result you're going to get over a period of time. See, lecithin granule is another thing that's helped to remove that plaque, but if you drink water, it's going to do the same thing. So how and when to drink the water, that's important. When is the best time to drink our water? Okay, in the morning, up on horizon. Up on horizon, because everything has been concentrated throughout the night, persons can drink a larger amount at that point. All right, and then throughout the day, between the meals, you drink more water. Typically, these are the best time to drink your water. A lot of people, because they don't drink enough water throughout the day, mealtime represent a time when, okay, we're gonna have a meal of water, we're gonna have a meal of food, okay? But when you are accustomed to drinking water all throughout the day, then you won't have a need to drink as much water at mealtime, okay? We say the maximum 4 ounces of water up to 15 minutes before meal. And this water need to be room temperature, not cold water, because then the body has to heat up that cold water before it can absorb it anyway. All right. So it's better to drink room temperature water. And we say the maximum 4 ounces, minimum of 30 minutes after a meal. Maximum of 4 ounces, minimum of 30 minutes after a meal. Again, room temperature. So we allow some time between the time we eat and the time we drink the water. 4 ounces of water will do nothing to dilute your gastric juice. Your gastric juice is sulfuric acid. And, you know, if you run sulfuric acid over your finger, you can run it underwater all you want. You can submerge your finger in the water all you want. But that sulfuric acid is not going to stop burning until it gets to where you got some calcium in your bone. See what I'm saying? Sulfuric acid is never neutralized by water. You got to put some baking soda or some alkaline substance to neutralize the acid. So we need to drink our water, small quantities, all throughout the day. There are certain schools of thought that you drink your water 1 hour or half an hour before your meal, and then wait 2 hours after your meal before you drink water again. Now, if you eat 3 meals a day, how many hours would go by without you drinking water? How many? 6 plus 3 if you do 1 hour before the meal, or let's say we give it a half an hour before the meal. So that's 7.5 hours out of the day that you would not be drinking water. And that's enough to kill a person. That's enough to cause your salts to go high and stay high. So the concept of not drinking water until 2 hours after the meal, it is not based upon science, and it is not a safe practice. Okay? So the water that's best to do this job, the water that will enter into the chemical processes of the body most readily would be soft water. The softer the water, the better this job will be accomplished, because then the body is able to use it in the chemical processes that it goes through. Soft water, the softest water is your distilled water. Okay? Your distilled water is your softest. It's considered high energy water. Yes, I hear somebody say, but it doesn't have no minerals. Now we eat the food to get the minerals, right? And we drink water to get water. If our Heavenly Father needed for us to drink water for minerals, then he wouldn't give us water. He would make sure he sweetened the water and put some minerals in it. Okay? You see what I'm saying? So distilled water is your highest energy water. Now, when we were in Belize, we didn't have no distiller, but our host, Sister Pamela, as well as all the people in the community, they catch rainwater. Rainwater is distilled water. Okay? And it was just great to be able to once again drink some rainwater. They filter it because of the contaminants that is in the atmosphere these days. They do filter it, but it's still rainwater, and it's much better than the other waters. Okay. So these are ways to clean the arteries, so that our health can improve. And when we get the salts down to where it need to be, it will increase our health. All right. Water will strengthen the will strengthen the digestion. All right. So I'm going to open up for some questions. We need some microphone that's working, and our online audience, if you do have questions, we would be certainly we'll certainly try to answer those questions. You have a mic over there? All right. All right. So who?
It's working. This mic is working. Okay. I have a lot of questions. Can you have a smooth brain? Yes. Like what causes, because if there is a smooth brain, what causes it?
We can't hear you, Brother Peter.
No, I'm just asking questions that I've had for a long.
All right, so we use the phones.
You can use this. This one's working. Oh, this one's
Okay.
working too.
All right, so we have two working ones. All right, so Amaziah was asking, can we have, what caused the brain, is the brain smooth?
Yeah, because I've seen like people, I don't know if they're born with it or they just had it, that
Yeah.
they have a smooth brain.
If their
Okay.
brain is smooth, their head is.
Their brain. That's where head is already.
I'm not sure what
Yeah.
causes that.
Mhm.
I'm not sure what is the reason why, but usually all sickness, all abnormalities is due to mineral deficiencies. Okay, next question.
Okay. How does other like body parts communicate to each other?
How does other body parts communicate? 1 Corinthians 12 tell us how bodies are made up of many members. All right? And they all relate to each other. They work together in harmony. So how does this occur? We have a nerve connection that goes to every cell in our body, and our cell communicates, sends message to the brain, and the brains communicate to the liver, giving the liver the programming which is necessary to build the replacement parts or the amino acid for the tissue or the organ or the cells that need to be replaced. It's a wonderful process.
Okay. Can you get a cardiovascular health issue because of mineral deficiency?
Okay, very good question. Can you get a cardiovascular condition due to mineral deficiency? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes. When the salts penetrate the smooth muscles, the salts is actually destroying those cells, damaging those cells. So it's losing minerals, including copper. Copper is a mineral that gives all tissue their elasticity. In the tree, in all things in nature, is the presence of copper that allow them to expand, to stretch. So copper would be one mineral loss. And as I mentioned, there'd be a loss of the various minerals that make up the cells, the smooth muscle. Vitamin C, vitamin A would be lost, and other minerals.
Okay. Is iron like, the metal iron? Like, are they the same?
They're different kind. They're still iron, but one is biological, one is organic, versus if you just go outside and decide to shave some iron off and decide to ingest it. It's different in that respect.
Okay. But so why did they name it the same thing?
Because that's what it is. The periodic table of element has iron on it as one of the mineral. So it would have the same composition, but just in the fact of difference is that it has no carbon, no organic matters connected with it in just a piece of iron outside versus iron in your food.
Okay. What are the benefits of meat?
You're trying to get Mother Brian on right now. There you go. All right.
What are the benefits of meat?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I'm talking about like lamb.
What do you mean? What do
I'm
you
not
mean?
Can't be on Miriam.
I usually eat just like
And all
beef
of my settings.
or chicken or
Oh wow.
any other.
You do get some minerals from all the foods you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You do get minerals. You don't get any fiber from the meat because the animal products don't contain fiber, but you do get some minerals from.
What about those of you in the chat?
One of the things is that it requires you a stronger gastric juice in order to get the energy from the meat. So children before 10 years old are not capable of actually digesting that meat properly.
Okay.
Oh,
Before they're 8, they can't really digest the nuts properly either. Okay.
Like other than distilled water, what minerals are in like normal water?
Other than distilled water, what minerals? maybe in water.
Yeah.
Because I think
Generally, water is hard or soft based upon
yeah, trying to
other
get
substance, including mineral that's in the water, which some could be calcium, some could be iron,
have a hot
different
mic.
minerals that may be in the water. Okay, usually it causes the
Would
water
somebody
to.
reach out the hot mic? Chantel's iPhone.
Okay, Chantel iPhone. Okay, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So you understand, Amaziah?
Mm-hmm.
There are waters that are hard and some water that are soft. The harder the water, the more the additional substance, including mineral, that's in the water. Distilled water is your softest. It doesn't have anything but H2O.
Okay.
This is, by the way, for those of you listening, this is Amaziah. He is 11 years old, and he reads a lot, he studies a lot, and he listened, and he wrote his questions down, and so he is going over his questions, and I'm trying to answer them. You will get an opportunity to ask your question soon. Okay, what's your next question?
So okay. What happens if you have too much iron?
What happens if you have too much iron? It will affect negatively the body. Most of the time, people don't have enough iron. That's the problem that they complain with. And usually, it's not that the iron may not be in the food, but because their gastric juice is too weak, too diluted. So even though the iron is in their food, but they cannot get the energy to be released from the iron. So therefore, their body becomes deficient in iron. On another occasion, their vitamin A may not be available, and as a result, the iron may accumulate in their body. It looks like excess in the blood. Some organs or some tissue may be breaking down, and as a result, iron is accumulating in the blood, so it looks like excess.
Okay. Can you have rough muscles instead of like soft muscles?
Can you have rough muscles instead of soft muscles? I imagine so.
Okay.
I imagine so. You probably could.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We have.
How do I get an answer to the question?
Yeah, we are online. We are
$8.
online. So let's
Yeah,
take
how do I?
questions first, and then you come back to Zawadi. Yes, Sister Shirley.
Okay, so I wanted to address some things of my own and some things that the young man asked. So when we talk about smooth muscles, is in contrast to, I guess it's the difference between voluntary and involuntary muscles, where the involuntary muscles are those that function without us making a physical activity, whereas the voluntary ones are the ones that we make activities like your feet and your legs and so forth. So like the heart now is a smooth muscle. It just by the nervous system, it just functions, and other minerals.
Yeah.
That's my thought. Question here about the gastric juices. This is my question. I'm not sure which one of the juices chemicals is in the stomach. Is it hydrochloric or sulfuric? Because I remember you mentioning sulfuric acid.
Hydrochloric acid.
It's hydrochloric. Okay.
Hydrochloric acid. I mentioned sulfuric acid, but it's hydrochloric acid.
I'm back to the young man's question about communication with the nervous system. The general gist, yes, is that it comes from the nerves, where the center is the brain, but then we have the spinal system that has the nerves traveling down there, and the nerves branch off at different points to innervate or to activate the different body parts, so to speak.
Very good.
I think that's about all I have for now. Oh,
Okay.
and the mineral. Minerals, again, when the rainwater hits the soil and it passes through or filters through the soil, that's where they pick up the minerals.
Okay,
So, okay, all
very
right,
good.
I'm done.
All right, very good. Any more question online? Okay, in the meantime, Zawadi, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay, my question is, does the body need to heat up cold water in extreme heat?
Okay, does the body need to heat up cold water in extreme heat, as in hot weather?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still has to, in order for it to absorb it, to utilize in the blood, because our body is what temperature? 98.6. Okay. So it's much better to drink room temperature water than drinking ice cold water. Okay. Okay. Any more question?
So I have a question.
Okay, Maya,
So my dad, and I don't know if
hold the
in
microphone up.
my dad, and I don't know, at least my dad used to, I don't know if still does. But even in Kenya, they drink and eat at the same time. Like they drink sour
Hold
milk.
it to your mouth.
They drink sour milk at the same time as they eat. And I'm wondering if that's okay, like to drink tea and bread and stuff like that.
Okay.
Since you can't drink and eat.
It's usually better to drink at separate times than eating, or even a few minutes before. It's much better that way. Okay, microphone.
I have one more question. Like, what if it's a really hot day? You just came out into like the cold breeze and you're dying of cold water. What do you like do at that moment?
You'll never die of cold water. Okay.
Like,
You're
like
dying of thirst.
yeah, like
Same.
no, not really dying of thirst. It's just that you really need the cold water, but the warm water won't really hit it that hard.
Okay. If you feel like drinking some cold water, you can drink it as long as it's not your regular. You see what I'm saying? It's not your regular. Okay, this day you come out from the field, you're really hot, and you need something to help cool you down, and you feel like drinking cold water, you won't die.
May I, Brother Peter, when you're through?
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Sister Shirley.
So my understanding is this: we practice to drink cold water, so we have that affinity, that taste for the cold water. But if you look back in Bible times, when they went through the Sahara Desert, I don't think they have access to cold water. It was just the natural room temperature water, and 40 years they didn't die. So it's what we practice that we become accustomed to and think it's the norm. That's my input.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right.
I have another comment on the cold thing. What if one day you want to eat ice cream? I mean, my mom said ice cream isn't good for you because it's cold and stuff. But I mean, you let it melt in your mouth before you swallow it. At least that's what I do. That's how I enjoy it.
Yeah, great. Pass the microphone over, please. All right.
A quick question that is not for humans. Excess nitrogen thickens the fluid. So if you have chicken and they have, when their poop,
Would you speak up a little bit louder, please?
if you have chicken and their poop smells excess nitrogen, is that a sign that they are dehydrated too?
It very well may be. If you have chicken and their poop smells like nitrogen or ammonia, It may be, I'm not specialty in that area, but comment, I would think based upon what I've told you, it is possible. I don't know how much water they drink and so on. If you smell an excessive amount of ammonia, it's possible.
May I again?
Sure.
Most animals know what's right for them and they usually follow what's right for them. But they're not made up exactly the same way we are made up. I think Brother Peter was addressing the human condition. Now, if you study animal science, the percentages and everything would vary. But that's what keeps them alive and functioning. It may not necessarily keep us alive and functioning. For example, an animal can lower its body temperature way down and be out there in the cold without a coat or extra feathers. This is what I found in research. Unlike the human, we are not able to do that. We have to have artificial covering to keep us warm, especially since we lost the natural covering of life.
Okay, very good. Very good point. Very good point. Okay. And keep in mind that baby chickens exchange all the cells in their bodies in 2 days. And usually they have to get water in, they have to drink water, I do believe, in order to flush those dead cells out.
Just one more question.
Okay.
Why does it seem like animals are more healthier than humans? Why does it seem like animals are more healthier than humans, even though like most animals like lion, cheetah, they mostly eat meat?
Okay. Amaziah's question is, if should you not have heard it, why does it seem like animals are more healthier, such as the cheetah, the lion, the tiger, and yet still they eat on meat? That's their primary diet. Great questions. And one of the difference is their intestines. Animals, their intestines are a whole lot different than ours. They're built where they can eat meat and it doesn't bother them. We have a longer digestive tract, and when we eat meat, it takes a lot longer time. I think that if I remember getting that correct, you want to comment upon that? Okay.
For sure, Brother Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They do participate more than we do in the 8 health laws. Fresh air, oxygen, water, exercise, all those things that most of us have become so sedentary. We sit in the offices, we don't go out, we don't do what we need to do. So it's not just one thing that affects us, it's an accumulation of lack of following the 8 health laws, which they themselves naturally follow for the most part.
Okay. Great point. But the intestinal difference is a major factor as well.
That is true. Like the cows have 4 stomachs, and which do different functions and so forth. That we only have 1 stomach. That's one example.
Very good. Go ahead, Sister Brenda.
I may have misunderstood his question.
Okay,
he was comparing the animals with the human.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking I was gonna make a comment on the animals with the animals, but that's
No,
not what we're
animals
talking
with
about.
human.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Go ahead, brothers. Is there someone online as a question? Okay. All right. You have any question? All right. So these are some important factors. So once again, parents should make sure that their children are drinking water. Don't take it for granted that your children are drinking water. You actually, in the interest of their well-being, should know these things about your children, how much water they're drinking, and that will make a big difference. You don't want to be surprised by okay?
Quick question. Which is the best water to drink? Most of us, we don't have distilled water so much available. We buy the reverse osmosis from the shop. Would it be better than to switch to a distilled water more other than the reverse osmosis?
Okay. Brother Stephen's question was, what is the best water to drink? He currently drinks reverse osmosis. Should he make a switch to distill or just keep with the reverse osmosis? There are many different waters, and for those who have well, some well water are purer, taste better, and so waters are hard or soft in degree. At one end of the spectrum, you have distilled water, and all the other water fall in line somewhere towards the distill. There is steam distilled and there's deionized distilled water, which is typically used in the lab. We want the steam distilled. Reverse osmosis water is next in line to distill. It's a good method of purifying the water, but your distill is your best. It is the highest energy water, and your body will use it better. Okay? Yes.
So is alkaline water distilled water?
Now, alkaline water is not distilled water. You know, there's a market out there that sells alkaline water, and while alkaline water may benefit some people, all right, the situation is the greater our mineral deficiency, the more acid our body goes. Okay, so people who drink alkaline water do receive some benefits, but they don't address the real cause. The real cause of why the body goes acid is lack of calcium. But you can use other substances to raise the pH, such as your alkaline water, and so persons will feel somewhat better and so on. But when they quit drinking the alkaline water because they didn't deal with the cause, then their condition would return. So the best water is your distilled water, and to properly supplement your diet with the right calciums. I am quite, calcium is a mineral and so on that really and truly, unless you're growing your own food, top quality produce, it would do well to supplement some calcium in our diet, some food-based calcium. All right? Okay, any more question? Any online question before we wrap it up? All right. So if there is no more question, we do appreciate you joining us, and just drink your water. Of course, you want to cut off your water early enough in the evening so you don't end up having to go to the bathroom frequently during the night hours. So be sure you know your body to cut it off early enough. But drink your water frequently all throughout the day, and you will find that you don't have to run to the bathroom as often. The other point is, if you're out and you're sweating, you notice that you don't urinate very often because it's going out through your skin. So when you're sweating, we need to drink a whole lot more than what we should be drinking according to our body weight. You see what I'm saying? Because we're sweating it out. We want to be able to flush out those dead cells and dying cells in our bloodstream. So that's why we need those water, the extra water. You understand me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You got another one, sister? Okay, give her
Good
the
sister. Which sister is this?
It's Sister Fate.
Oh,
Fate is the victory that overcomes the world.
Hallelujah. So another question is there underlying issue for those who frequently urinate at night, even they haven't drunk water maybe during the day?
Okay.
So
All right. You heard her question. Is there an issue with
underlying
those who urinate frequently at night, even though they don't drink much water during the day? Is this male or is it man or woman?
male.
Make a difference. Generally, when there's issue with the prostate, you usually show up in frequent night urination. Okay, often to the bathroom, but there are additional symptoms that is associated with that. Urine hard to start, hard to stop, dribbling urine, urgent urination. These are all some of the symptoms related to prostate issue. And the women, well, the women won't have any issue with their prostate. I'm sorry. Women do not have prostate. All right. So with women, it could be bladder issue. It could be that they're drinking water too late. It could be that their sugars go low. And when the sugars go low, we frequent the urination. We have frequent urination, and that could be a factor. Let me say, persons with low sugar, even though they require so much amount of water, they may not be able to handle that much water because too much water will tend to lower their sugar further. So if they have low sugar, they may need to combine some juices, maybe a third of their volume in juices and 2/3 in water. You see what I'm saying? Low sugar, they usually are not able to handle a lot of water. But using more chlorophyll in the diet is very helpful to help the pancreas and the liver so that they can handle the sugars much better. Okay? All right? So just probably need more greens in your diet. That's right. Okay.
just one thought just came to me that too about
Sure.
the ice water, the cold water.
Yeah.
Somewhere I think I remember hearing or reading that the body first has to warm the water up before it can utilize it. So whatever the mitochondria is producing for heat, for the functioning of the body, is taking it away to do that extra stuff which we have imposed on the body.
Right.
And I don't know the detrimental effect of that, but that's something to consider.
Yeah. Especially when you're eating and you're drinking cold water. Then the body just tell the food to wait a minute or wait for half an hour. Let me warm up this fluid. Let me warm up this water. It's cold. And then after it warms it up, then it can begin the process of digestion. So the food generally sits in the stomach for a while waiting. If your digestion is weak, then it could result in fermentation, digestive disturbances. So especially with the meal, cold water is a definite no-no for that purpose. The stomach is a boiler and it has to be at a certain operating temperature in order to function effectively. So we should not use anything to dampen the temperature because it has to raise the temperature back up in order for the digestion to be effective.
And even for the water to enter the cells, it has to be at the right temperature.
Exactly, for the water to also enter the cells. Use the micro, please.
How about hot water or hot teas?
Hot water or hot teas. With meal or between meals or what?
Anytime.
Okay, I mean, we all drink some hot tea at some point, and sometimes we need the medicinal effect of a nice hot cup of tea. And when you need that medicinal effect, then it will work in our benefit when you need that hot medicinal effect of the tea.
But Brother Peter, as you think about it logically, you said the body was 98.6?
Yeah,
Hot water, we cannot drink boiling water, which is 100 degrees, which is what, 1.4 degree more than that. So the body's already hot up to 98.6 degrees. So the hot water we drink ain't gonna be more than the 98. And so we'll be burning ourselves up.
okay,
So we're probably close to the body temperature when it goes down into the stomach.
okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, your online audience. And if you are just joining us, you can review the last 2 months. We covered a few subjects. Our first month, we covered cancer and mineral deficiency. The second month, we covered cancer and mineral deficiency part 2. And this is our third month. We're dealing with water and cardiovascular disease. So we see the importance of water all across the board. And if you look at those previous lecture, you will see how important it is, even in the prevention of cancer, to drink water. All right. So thank you very much, listeners. I'm going to stop this recording and okay. Request to record to this computer. Did it stop? Okay, stop it. All right.